Hi, this is Syphilisation. Just going to play through a full game, see how it goes, talk through some of the thinking behind the features, talk through some of the history, just play around with it a bit. So I'm just going to skip through these tutorials. You already saw me move. These are our two main goals: to meet the rest of the group and to learn about topics. We'll get to those. Start some research. We'll just go down this entire branch. That's fine. We're going to start with Gandhi rather than the other ones. We've found what we were looking for. So this is our first lock. So basically it's a camp that's between two different regions. So we have to open up these camps, open up these locks across the map. So that was the first one. Just going to keep exploring here. What this has done is it's given us a quest. You can see that with this icon or with this icon. It wants us to meet Kiran, which is below. It's going to be a little tricky. So we're just going to look at the other camp as well. Just keep doing our research, going through this. You see we have this project, we have this quest to complete a project. We can do Gandhi or we can do the world. We'll do Gandhi on this one. Let's keep going. Let's explore some more Gandhi. Now we're still looking for the other lock. It's got to be somewhere on this border. We completed that. We'll just keep researching stuff, seeing what we pick up. Here's the other lock. This one also wants us to complete a project. We're already working on a project in this city, so we'll just keep exploring. Picked up a couple of facts. We have Churchill on Gandhi in 1931. Alarming and also nauseating to see Mr. Gandhi. It really sums up Churchill's approach to Gandhi across his career. This is Calcutta women responding to Gandhi. So for context, this is one of Gandhi's many missteps, many unnecessary moments of judgment, where he speaks out about the modern girl that loves to be Juliet to half a dozen Romeos. And this is the letter that those women wrote responding to him. He responds once more. It's even worse. You can see if you can actually unlock that fact as well as you go through the game. But anyway, now we're just going to keep playing. So we want to get the majority of favor either in eager or in responsible. We've unlocked both by completing these quests. We are 2 favor behind in eager and only 1 favor behind in responsible, but our unit is right here. So we'll just work on the eager region right now. Meanwhile, we've completed our first goal by opening up a new region. So now we have to meet the other players. We'll get to that in time. We're just going to scout here. Unlocked a bunch more facts. This is one of the quotes that's really stuck with me on Gandhi. The man who sees no power in Gandhi is the man who knows no power save that of the ballot box in the battlefield. Really sums up why so many people struggle with Gandhi, because we're so used to thinking of power in terms of elections and in terms of wars, and not in terms of the axes which Gandhi used instead. This is Naipaul talking about how Gandhi has pieces picked up from here and there. English common law, Ruskin's idea of labor, Tolstoy's Russian religious dream, South African jail code, Manchester No Breakfast Association, and his mother's love of fasting, right? So Gandhi really came from all kinds of places, not just the singular Peter the Hermit figure that people often see him as. This is Gandhi talking about the need for British withdrawal over here. He says he's having a conversation with a friend, and this shocked the British conscience of the friend. Yes, the Britisher would like his troops to go out quicker. Who obstructs? And Gandhi replies, who else but the British themselves, unless you can show that it is physically impossible to effect immediate withdrawal, which really drills down to the core of a lot of these things, where people get themselves into a logical knot. And what Gandhi did, and his nonviolent movement as a whole, was kind of cut through the knottiness of it to just bring out the core of the issue. That in this case, the only reason that the British didn't withdraw is because they didn't want to withdraw. Lala Lajpat Rai's nails. Lala Lajpat Rai was killed by a British police officer, and I declare that the blows struck at me today will be the last blows in the coffin of British rule in India, which he was something of a rallying cause, and he was part of a succession of events, right, that started with Jallianwala Bagh more than anything, which showed the Indian moderate that there was no compromise to be had with the British. So in the meantime, we're just going to keep going through this, see where we get. Combining facts, I'll show you that in a second. Just keep researching. Over here, we're trying to pick up 2 more favor, at least in this region. So what we're doing is we're exploring these anomalies so that we can get quests, and then completing those quests will help grow these camps, and that'll build our favor in the region. So we'll pick up another scout here. We'll keep researching Gandhi. And over here, what have we got? We've got Tagore on Europe. Churchill talking to his son. I have talked to you more this holiday than my father talked to me in his whole life. A lot of Churchill was chasing after his father, especially early Churchill. This is a painting done by Churchill, the Tower of Qutubiyya Mosque. It's a gifted painter. Yeah, I mean, he loved his colors. That's one big thing. He was not a fan of the browns and grays that dominated painting at the time, and just he had talent there. It's one of those things, right? You can dislike him as much as you want, and of course I dislike him greatly, but he had talent at painting. There's not much you can do to deny it. In the meantime, we're just going to continue exploring both of these regions. This is an inspiration. We can use them to help camps complete their own quests. I'll show you that in a second. Just going to renew this unit. Again, just trying to pick up favor in both of these regions. So as we do that, we'll end up exploring down here towards Kiran. We'll probably be able to meet her fairly soon. Just keep learning about Gandhi. We seem to have specialized a bit. Yeah. Yep, so there we go. We've picked up enough favor in the Eager region that we have the majority, so we can take over responsibility for it. We're going to do that. We have also triggered a new tier. We're now in tier 2, so that triggers major quests. Right now we're just going to go for currency quests rather than research quests. A little easier to complete at this stage. Pick up all of these, learn about Churchill. We have this campaign going on, handling our own insecurities about taking on this increased role. I don't think I need to redeploy my units actually. I think they're in a decent spot right here. So we'll just continue. Just to check, we have one here and we have one here. This one I'll be able to flip with my city in a second. And this one I have this inspiration, this forager, and this scout, so I should be able to manage that pretty easily. What we should do now is we'll just consolidate this area a little bit more. Over here we'll bring this unit down so that we can pick up the quest. This one wants us to meet Anupam. That's a little difficult given that Anupam is over here, so we'll just forage. We'll see if we can just finish it off with the inspiration, which we did. That ends up cleaning up that campaign. In the meantime, we'll get another forager. We'll keep researching India. Actually, we'll research Churchill just to make sure we get those quests done. What have we picked up? This is from Hinswaraj, where the reader says, but it has not occurred in history, to Gandhi's point about being able to help the English rediscover their own humanity. And his point is, to believe that what has not occurred in history will not occur at all is to argue disbelief in the dignity of man. At any rate, it behooves us to try what appeals to our reason. This is Bhagat Singh writing about his atheism. See what we do next. Yeah, so we're just kind of waiting for these to finish, waiting to see where this goes. What we'll do is we'll meet one of the other players to progress that goal, that major goal. And we'll do the same down here. Let's move this around. Now what we can do with this unit is we can go here, connect all of this up. We can go here. Probably best we can try to connect these camps through that. Or we could try to go down and find the camp that connects these two regions and unlock it that way. We'll move here, to see what we find, and then move here and settle there. Yeah. Talking about settler colonialism in Kashmir in the year 2022. Talking about how the Indian government's idea to move people into Kashmir is essentially settler colonialism. I'm going to unlock this, continue. Okay, what have we got now? Pretty standard stuff, just going to learn about the world. So we're getting closer to the next phase. There are a bunch of gear shifts in this game, but right now what we'll do is the simpler thing of just trying to meet a new person. See, we've got to learn about someone and we've got to add an answer. Okay, for this forager, we've got two pretty easy quests, so I'm just going to load this forager up while we have some time. Move this unit down. Found a new camp. Move this unit down as well. Over here we will... So we have a new quest from this lock to complete project, which we should do easily enough. So again, we'll just move down. And there we go. We finally met Kiran. We'll start a campaign to become friendlier with her. Close this. So now we have two camps opposing this friendliness, one on our side and one on her side. So let's deploy our units to take care of that. We already have this harvester here, and we should be able to finish the quest pretty easily, but just in case, I'll move this inspiration here. For the city, I will just move here. This does a couple things. One is it allows us to link this camp into this whole collection, and two is it adds favor to this camp, which will take it out of the campaign. In the meantime, we're just going to keep researching Churchill right now. Picked up a bunch of facts. Churchill being very racist. Syphilisation from Ulysses. This is the quote that I've named the game after. And Bloom trying to back him up. Moderation and botheration and their colonies and their civilization. Their syphilisation, you mean, says the citizen. To hell with them. And so on. And this is Churchill's foolish belief in the foundation of empire. I have seen enough in peace and war of the frontiers of our empire to know that the British dominion all over the world could not endure for a year, perhaps not for a month, if it was founded on a material basis. Now, Churchill, he said a lot of things. You can't really expect consistency from him, especially across, the 40-odd years that he was a major player in politics. This is in 1903, right? This was when he was still quite young, still starting his career. And of course, near the end of the the British time in India, he is opposed to withdrawal because he thinks that it will impoverish people in places like Manchester and Lancashire, right? Very materialist concerns, which at the time were obsolete, but nevertheless played highly in Churchill's mind. Here is Virginia Cowles, famous for many things, including this notable biography on Winston Churchill in the year 1953, talking about Churchill himself and why he looms so large in English history. Right? There's always a hero and a villain, and the fact that Mr. Churchill never fails to cast himself in the leading role not only annoys his opponents, but often irritates his colleagues as well. Churchill was always a very boyish figure, a very irrepressible figure, and that made him singular in politics. And it was both. There were times where it helped him. There were times where it hurt him. There are times where it made him more likable. There are times where it made him less likable. It is what it is. So we've met another person. Now this camp and this camp over here, both of them are opposed. We'll leave this camp for Radha to handle, and we'll try to figure out what we're going to do with this one. We still have this camp here to deal. We have this Judy to deal with. So what I might do is just bring my units in to handle this. Just take a couple of these. It's never my preferred way to manage these campaigns, but sometimes it's just what you need to get the job done. Meanwhile, in Judy, still wants me to meet Anupam and to complete a project. So it's still going to be a little bit hard to meet Anupam, but I should be able to complete a project fairly quickly. Let's see here. So now we're just going to do this, but we are going to start using these units. Over here, we're just going to harvest a little bit more so that this unit is ready to be used. We'll inspire here. That finishes this campaign. We've boosted Kiran. So now we've gotten 20 like with Kiran, so we're close to hitting our first aspect here. We'll do that soon. With this unit, we will go towards this region, try to finish off this campaign as well, and then we'll go meet Anupam. This is a great quote from Fanon in the Introduction to Colonialism and Neocolonialism. The whites are leaving, but their accomplices are among us, armed by them. The last battle of the colonized against the colonizers will often be that of the colonized among themselves. And this is a thing you will see across post-colonial history, and it's a thing that is very difficult for a lot of people to come to terms with. That often the end of a colonial period comes with immense violence amongst the formerly colonized. Right? In India, of course, it's partition. Partition was the cause of tremendous violence. Right? Much of that violence was absolutely horrific. And Fanon's point here is that you have to understand that when the colonizer leaves, the colonizer doesn't leave in a state as clean as they arrived in. They leave having fractured a colonized country entirely. And one of the results of those fractures is in violence. And to understand the violence that accompanies post-colonialism, you have to understand the fractures that the colonizers inflicted. This, by the way, is Churchill on field tests, talking about General Dyer's massacre of people in Jallianwala Bagh. I was confronted, says General Dyer, by a revolutionary army. What is the chief characteristic of an army? Surely it is that it is armed. This crowd was unarmed. These are simple tests which it is not too much to expect officers in these difficult situations to apply. Churchill was very scathing on Dyer's massacre, and that's a pretty clear point that the army was clearly in no danger. We'll see later on if we happen to unlock the fact that Dyer's real reason for massacring people was that he felt he would be laughed at if he didn't, and that colonial pride is what has caused deaths in a large variety of situations in a large variety of places across colonial history. So anyway, we're just going to keep exploring over here, see what we find, explore a bit of these places. In doing so, we'll develop our relationship a little bit with Kiran, and which is important given how close we are to hitting a landmark there. This is Kropotkin talking about history from below. This is Tagore talking about the industrialization of Japan. Tagore again, talking about how nationalism and ideals as a whole tend to make the mind lazy. Sartre talking about Algeria, two complementary and inseparable truths. The colonists are human beings by divine right and the natives are subhumans. This is the mythical interpretation of a precise fact, since the wealth of the former depends on the extreme poverty of the latter. Right? And I mean, this comes up over and over again, that to be a colonizer, you have to believe that those who are colonized are less than human, as otherwise, how can you colonize? And not only do you have to believe that, you are materially dependent upon that belief because your money comes from the colonial enterprise. So this set of logical statements is something you'll see over and over again in the thinking of colonists, right? This helps you understand what underpins a lot of colonial thought. Now here I can complete any of these projects so as to complete this quest, or I can boost Kiran, which is what I'll actually do because we're so close to hitting this mark. Meanwhile, over here, I have no choice but to complete the project. I'm going to research the world, try to get it on par with the other two. Same thing here. Got a bunch of facts. Naipaul on Delhi, F.N. Souza on Gandhi, the translation of the Tao by Ursula K. Le Guin, Machiavelli. Everyone admits how praiseworthy it is in a prince to keep faith and to live with integrity and not with craft. Nevertheless, our experience has been that those princes who have done great things have held good faith of little account. Right? Which it's interesting to put this besides a lot of the other historical statements that people say, especially something like what we just talked about, where Gandhi talked about how we can't let what we know of history to shackle our actions in the present. I'm going to pick up this one. This is a very important tech, and I think we're pretty much on pace with it, so we should have it done by about turn 23. So maybe a couple of turns late, but not a big deal. Now we still need to meet Anupam. We still need to explore a bunch of this unexplored space. Yeah, we don't have that much in the way of projects. So let's see what we do now. Let's move this down. Here's a quest that somebody else has. We'll just figure out what these quests are so that we can see if we can complete them ourselves. Explore here. Over here, what I want to do is move here. It's a very valuable tile, and by settling there we can connect everything up. Now we just complete a project. We've caught up here, so we'll go back to Gandhi. Non-cooperation in Calcutta. Naipaul, again, Indians are proud of their ancient surviving civilization. They are in fact its victims. Churchill as a premature birth, right? It's a fun little piece of gossip. Colonies and the bourgeoisie. Winds of Change in 1860. I wonder what this is. Oh, this is about how elections became more popular, I believe. Interesting. This is Gandhi in England in the year 31, being written to by Sir Mirza Ismail. You will endear yourself to the people of England and you will do honor to them, next only to your countrymen. It's a grand opportunity for bringing about peace and harmony and goodwill between the two countries, which is a lot of the promise of Gandhi. The promise of Gandhi, and you'll see this here too, where he wrote to Churchill and Rothmere, who were both strongly opposed to Indian independence. The promise of Gandhi that a lot of people, especially in India, felt was that he would be someone who would bring about independence, but would bring about independence while strengthening the friendship between the countries, while letting people be better than they were before. And here we've got this view on Tagore. We can pick up a view on India post-1950, which we might as well do. So now we'll just start adding these views to the report as the game goes on. Just this. This is Lutyens New Delhi, which I can make into a view on Churchill post-1950, but I'm not going to do that. Yes, so we've become closer to Kiran, and that adds this quiet aspect here. This is important because as we develop, we will end up polluting more and more. The way this game works is that all production causes pollution, and quiet is a way to keep yourself from polluting as much, to reduce the amount of pollution that you produce. Over here, we're pretty close to building a city, so we need to think about that when we settle right here. See, this is a pretty high value spot, but this would be even better if we could put that in. We'll be able to settle right here if we choose, and so include that. But I think ideally we would be settling like right here. So given that, we would want this to be part of a camp. So that'll start making more sense as we continue. Over here we have a very low production city, so I'm just going to use it to knock off this view. Over here we'll just keep researching, we'll learn about Churchill, and we'll end the turn. Okay. Englishman. Right now, what shall we do? We do still need to meet Anupam. And we need to explore a bit, but we might as well pick up this quest, whatever this is. Move this forger here. Okay. Let's keep exploring. Learn a bit over here. Might as well. What have we picked up? Tolstoy talking about government oppression. Said talking about Egypt. Said talking more about Egypt. We can pick up this view as well. And should we so desire, we might as well pick up this view as well. Just going to keep adding these views to the report. Gandhian Englishman. Expand this, this. So all of these quests are pretty easy, so I'm not going to use the forger on it. Or am I going to use the inspiration? Let's explore here, see what we find. So we finally found Anupam. We'll do the same thing. We'll try to be friendlier with her. And having met everybody gives us a pretty big boost to the production of all of our citizens, so that's useful. We have these two camps opposed to us. Pretty straightforward. Just gotta split up the troops in a sensible way. So we'll take this inspiration and this forager here. We'll take this inspiration here, this forager here. We'll see how that goes. Explore down here, new facts, what have we got? British exceptionality. Perhaps there's no nation on earth equal to the British in the capacity for self-deception. British historians write almost as if Britain had introduced Negro slavery solely for the satisfaction of abolishing it. So I really appreciate that quote, because the more you read of British historians, the more often you'll see what exactly that quote criticizes. Meanwhile, we can just keep exploring. Over here, we finally added a view to the grade, so we're on our way to a good grade. Just got to keep adding views and adding connectors as the game progresses. Over here again, this quest is easy, so we're not going to use up our harvester on it. I think I might have made a mistake there. I think I might have needed to send that harvester up there, but it's not a big deal. Over here, we can explore this, see what we get. Explore down here. We found some new camps, but Anupam has already handled this camp, so I'm just going to keep exploring. By inspiring this camp, we've completed this project, so you see it knocks out all of those quests immediately. It's pretty useful, especially because by keeping our quest count low, we keep our quiet high. Over here, what have we got? We could boost, but I'm just going to I like having one answer around just in case, but I'll just add it anyway. Okay, so that is the first 25 turns. Well, so from the next video, we'll go from here to turn 50. We'll settle our cities. We'll convert our camps. Yeah, we'll see where that takes us. Cool.